Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 4 of the 2020-2500-2500 road trip. As you can see, we have all 6 cars together. We are all functional this morning, and it is time to leave Wisconsin again and head back into Minnesota again. Today, the plan was we were going to go all the way up to the very top of Minnesota, basically to the Canadian border. Unfortunately, because of the fact that we had to stay an hour and a half south of Duluth last night, because there's no hotel rooms up here, we've changed plans a little bit. So with the original plan kind of scrapped, we're going to go just a little bit north of the Duluth and run a little bit of Lake Superior border. We're going to cut back to Grand Rapids, and then from Grand Rapids down to Minneapolis. So pretty reasonably easy day today. But it's a lot of mileage. There's not a lot of stopping, so it's going to get a lot of mileage, a lot of driving. So far we're at about 1,200 miles on this trip, so the next 2 days we've got to do quite a bit of miling, which should be fine because it's going to be some great driving. So far, Crown Vic is doing perfectly fine. Volvo is, of course, doing fine, what it normally does. SI is good, other than it's a little bit bumpy. The SL is still kind of the belle of the ball, even though it's a little chilly. These guys have been rocking it top down pretty much the entire trip. Definitely a way cooler where I'd been running around in one of these Volvos. The Vibe GT is excellent, completely awesome. We all smile and laugh when it comes by. Sounds great, looks great. Everybody's jealous of his extremely cheap Chinese headlights. And the Infinity J30 back there is surprisingly competent as far as a sedan goes. Probably the most shocking of all of the vehicles is how well that thing actually handles. I would not have thought of that. So anyway, we're going to finish getting ready here and get on the roads, start headed north, back into the gorgeous northern territories of the United States. Well, we are officially actually on the road. As you can see, I have behind me everybody. So the day 4 of the 2500-2500 has begun. For those who are not familiar with what's going on, this is a trip of 2,500, give or take, miles in $2,500 cars. So the challenge is buy a car or build a car for $2,500 or less that will survive a 2,500 mile trip through some absolutely epic American roads. So far we have gone through the entirety of Michigan, from central Ohio all the way up through Toledo, Detroit, up the east coast of Michigan, cut over to the west coast of Michigan, through the Tunnel of Trees, up into the UP, all the way to the northeast coast of the UP, and then all the way across the upper peninsula of Michigan, and then ended the evening in Hayward, Wisconsin. Today, we are back on the road and headed north, back into Minnesota, because we want to get some more Lake Superior, and then come back across. So, the day has begun. We are officially all together. The snacks have been procured. Breakfast has been sort of eaten. And yeah, so we've got a lot of mileage to get done today. Probably around in the neighborhood of 500 miles. The final destination for the evening is Minneapolis. So we'll see if that makes sense. Man, it's gorgeous up here. The fall, Great Lakes, great idea.
Hey guys, welcome back to Minnesota. Well, we have made it to Duluth, Minnesota. We are currently on the north shore of Duluth, Minnesota, and I don't know what the average property value is over there, but that is a gorgeous view you guys get to have every day. I mean, absolutely stunning. Yeah, I could live here. So we're going to, oh wow, hold on. Yeah, Duluth, Minnesota, beautiful city. Look at that. Oh, what a great area to put a city in. So we have run into one small problem. The left front wheel on the Mercedes SL seems to be vibrating a little extra. That car was hit the day before we went on this trip by Ethan's friend, who's backed into in the left front corner, and may have done some damage to maybe a wheel bearing or a ball joint, but we can see that oscillation as we're driving down the road and he's able to feel it. So we're gonna see if we can fix it on the side of the road, maybe tighten up a wheel bearing, or at least make sure that it's not gonna probably come off while we're on this drive. So we're gonna find ourselves a little spot up here north of Duluth to pull off and see if we can do some roadside repair, or at least an inspection.
Well, as we continue up the coast, we all decided it was time for lunch. So you start looking for somewhere cool to eat. And we found this little place. It's actually a little resort and restaurant with cabins and stuff. The nice thing is the view isn't too bad. Yeah, this is not a bad way to have a lunch. You know what? One of the best parts about these 2,500 mile road trips is so much of it is unplanned. So you just kind of take it as it comes. You know, you never know what you're going to run into. You never know what's going to happen. And a lot of times, some pretty awesome stuff happens.
Definitely not a bad stop for lunch. Fantastic food, most enjoyable. All right, back on the road. We've got 30 miles and we're gonna shoot up this coast, enjoy some more of this lakeside drive, and then we take a west trip through some state forests and maybe a storm. Awesome day.
So we've made it about 2 miles from where we stopped for lunch, and we're trying to get some good mileage under our belts. And Tim sees Betty's Pies 3 miles ahead. Unfortunately, at our lunch stop, strawberry rhubarb pie was out. So Tim has called Betty's Pies, and they do actually have strawberry rhubarb pie. So we're gonna stop and get a slice for Tim. However, I think now Phil's gonna have a slice. And I think now Kevin wants to stop and have a piece of pumpkin pie. So at least we made it another 5 miles up the road. Hey, it's all about the journey, not the destination. Remember that. This is a serious pie place.
I am so happy about the pie. Tell me we have tunnel footage, please. I have pie.
On in, no more lakeshore. We have headed west from Silver Bay, Minnesota, headed to Grand Rapids, Minnesota, through some beautiful forests. What an amazing experience on the lake shores. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. What a great time. But now we have some amazing forest driving to do, which also should be amazing. Amazing. Just amazing. Having a great time. Every single car is still maintaining. Check engine lights are still on. Everybody seems to be in one piece. Most everybody is full and having a little bit of a diabetic issue with pies, thanks to Betty's. Yeah, good drive so far. One thing we hadn't thought of. If you can look, probably even hear it. There are expansion joints every few feet. You can hear the things rattling around in my car. And this is a very calm, compliant suspension. There's 45 miles of this at least. Is going to be brutal. Time to adjust some suspension on the bike. Fortunately, the crazy expansion joint situation resolved itself. Looked like maybe a section of the road that they just recently did, and they hadn't filled in the joints with tar yet, so we were just beating ourselves to death. Now it's considerably smoother. We've got about another 20 miles to go, so only had about 20-25 minutes of absolute torture. So, yeah, back to being an absolutely beautiful drive through the trees, man. Absolutely gorgeous. Northwoods country. Beautiful up here. Blasting across central Minnesota here, and we are near the peatlands and marshlands. Not particularly attractive, but some pretty color. Interesting trees. Some yellow pine trees, which is kind of neat. Never seen one of those, I don't think. But yeah, there's a peatland that's just beside us. Not a lot of people living out here, that's for sure. Not a lot of doing anything out here. As a first, we have already figured out our sleeping accommodations for the evening, which is excellent. That way we're not worried about it. We need to get to the Hampton Inn. We should be there about 7:30 in downtown Minneapolis. Ethan has a midterm to do tonight, so we got to get him back to the hotel so he can get on Wi-Fi and get his schooling done. And then we'll figure out a dinner thing and see what we're going to do in downtown Minneapolis tonight. So, got about an hour and a half or so, 2 more hours left to drive, and then we'll be in Minneapolis. So far, the Volvo's doing what the Volvo does. I was remarking just a minute ago about next time I do this trip, I would like to do it in something slightly more exciting than a Volvo Wagon, because while this is a great car and it is an excellent road trip car, it's not very exciting. Because nothing ever, I don't say I want something to go wrong. I don't want something to go wrong, but Volvo Wagon, just not real exciting on a road trip. So maybe the next road trip, I could take something fun. About 1,500 miles into our 2,500 mile journey, and we have all the cars. Everything is going according to plan. Ethan has a little bit of a, we think, loose wheel bearing in the left front corner, but we don't have the ability to get the wheel off because whomever put that wheel on in the first place when he bought that used vehicle put it on with like 500 foot-pounds of torque. So nothing we threw at it was going to break it loose. And that's, we're not going to open up that can of worms when we're up here. So we're just going to run with it at this point in time. It's not to the point where it's making a real big problem, but it is what it is. The Crown Vic is throwing a couple of codes here and there for ECM, BCM. And third gear doesn't feel too terribly happy. The Infinity is continuing to throw knock sensor codes and a couple of other codes, but it's not throwing any misfire codes, which is kind of weird. Vibe has developed an extra exhaust leak and has some check engine codes, but not seemingly that's going to affect the ride of the vehicle. Ethan's Mercedes is doing well, other than the wheel bearing and a couple of weird little electronic issues. And let's see here. Then we get to the Honda Civic Si, which is a Honda Civic Si, so doesn't really have any problems. We do have some hot spotting on the left front rotor of that car, which could be conducive to seized caliper maybe, or partially seized caliper. We're just scrubbing a little extra on the left front than it is on the right front. All the other rotors seem like they're in perfectly good shape, but it's not affecting his driving. It's definitely not affecting the safety, but you know, it is what it is. You got to point out those Honda flaws. Volvo is just, you know, continuing to do what the Volvo does. It has had zero problems. It's getting 26 miles to the gallon. No check engine lights. No weird vibrations. No bad sounds. No, it just, you know, it's doing what a Volvo does. Hey y'all, welcome to Minneapolis. Right there, Minneapolis skyline.
Yeah, this is a super simply looking city. Man, that purple thing on the left is
Very pretty. Very pretty, very pretty. Excited to spend the evening here. So greetings from Minneapolis. We have not only figured out our hotel for the evening, but we've also figured out our dinner for the evening. Look at us. We're getting better at this. Man, that is a pretty looking city. So, head to the hotel, check Ethan in so he can do some homework. As soon as he's got his homework going on, we're going to dinner. Pasta time.
I-94 West.
As far as cities go, this is a nice looking city. Dude, I forgot how beautiful this city was.
Take exit 17B, then use the right lane to keep right.
Well, as I wrap up day 4 of the edits here, I somehow do not have a closing, so this is my closing. Thank you for watching day 4 of our 2500 road trip. Wonderful evening in Minneapolis. Gorgeous city. Really look forward to coming back and doing some more actual things in Minneapolis. Food was great. People seemed very nice. Skyline is absolutely stunning. So definitely put Minneapolis on my to-do again list for sure. Day 5 begins our travels south from Minneapolis. And that video will be coming very shortly. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed coming along on this journey with us so far. Almost done. Have 2 more days left to go. So please do click on that subscribe button if you haven't already. Drop us a comment in the comment section below. Click on that like button because it lets YouTube know that you're actually paying attention and that you've made it this far in the video. So thanks. Video continues tomorrow. We'll see you next time.